The night sky over Earth Base 9 was not quiet anymore. Alarms flashed red across the sky domes, and soldiers ran through metal corridors, shouting codes that no one fully understood. The sound of distant explosions echoed through the ground like the heartbeat of a dying world. In the middle of all this chaos stood Captain Aidan Cross, calm, silent, and watching the holographic map floating before him. Red dots covered half the screen. The aliens were closing in. They called themselves the Krellith, beings of cold metal and living plasma, a race that had wiped out 6 human colonies in less than a year. Humanity was losing. Every ship destroyed, every planet burned. But tonight was different. Aidan knew something the others didn't. He whispered to himself, "It's time to release it." Behind the steel doors of Chamber 7 lay Project Helios, Earth's final hope. Every general believed Helios was a new type of weapon, a massive energy cannon hidden underground. But only Aidan knew the truth. Helios was not a weapon built by man. It was born human. He opened the sealed chamber with his ID. The heavy doors hissed open, releasing white mist. Inside, floating in a glass capsule, was a young woman, maybe 20 years old. Pale skin, closed eyes, and veins that glowed faintly with golden light. Her name was Eve. She looked peaceful, like she was only sleeping. But Aidan knew what she could do. He had seen it once, years ago, in a secret test far from Earth. Entire mountains turned to dust when her power woke. He touched the glass and said quietly, "Eve, it's time." The lights in the chamber flickered. Eve's eyes opened slowly, golden, bright like a sunrise. She looked at him, confused for a moment, then smiled faintly. "You kept your promise," she said in a soft voice. Aidan nodded. "We don't have time. The Krellith are here." Her smile faded. "Then it begins again." Outside, in orbit above Earth, alien ships broke through the defense grid. Huge metallic creatures shaped like blades sliced through the clouds. The sky burned orange. The human fleet tried to fight back, but their energy shields failed one after another. Aidan and Eve stepped into the launch bay. Soldiers stopped and stared. None of them had ever seen her before. She looked human, yet there was something about her that made the air around her hum, like the world itself was afraid. "Who is she?" one of the soldiers asked. "The reason we might still live," Aidan answered. As they entered the dropship, Eve looked at the burning horizon. "I can feel them," she said quietly. "So many minds, angry, cold, empty." Aidan checked his weapon. "Can you stop them?" She turned her golden eyes toward him. "I was never made to stop them, Aidan. I was made to end them." The ship launched into the night, speeding toward the battlefield. Below them, the alien machines were already tearing through Earth's final stronghold. Giant energy beams cut through buildings, turning cities into ashes. In the command center, General Reeves shouted over the noise. "Where the hell is Captain Cross? We need Helios online now." But by the time his message reached Aidan, it was already too late. The ship had landed near Ground Zero, right where the largest Krellith walker stood. The alien machine towered over them like a god, its eyes glowing blue. Aidan jumped out, pointing his weapon at it. "Eve, now." Eve stepped forward, bare feet touching the burning ground. The air around her shimmered. The alien walker aimed its cannon, charging to fire. But before it could release the beam, everything stopped. Time froze for a moment. Then a low hum filled the air. The ground cracked under Eve's feet. Her eyes glowed brighter, and lines of golden light spread across her skin. The alien's energy cannon melted before it could shoot. The entire walker twisted and folded into itself like paper burning in fire. Aidan shielded his face as the explosion burst outward, silent, pure light. When it cleared, the alien army in front of them was gone. Not destroyed, just gone. Eve fell to her knees, breathing hard. Aidan ran to her, grabbing her shoulder. "You did it." But she shook her head. "No. I only delayed them. The Krellith know now. They will come for me." Above them, the clouds split open, revealing the main Krelith ship, a city-sized vessel that blocked the stars. Its voice echoed in every communicator, deep and cold. "We have found our lost creation." Aiden looked at Eve, confused. "What are they talking about?" Eve looked away, tears glowing gold as they fell. "They didn't come to destroy Earth, Aiden," she whispered. "They came to take me back." The ground trembled again, and the ship's massive beams started to power up. Aiden raised his weapon, but deep inside he knew, this wasn't just a war between humans and aliens. This was something far older. And Eve was the key. Smoke still covered the battlefield as Aiden helped Eve stand. The ground was hot, pieces of metal and glass glowing in the dark. In the distance, the Krelith mothership floated above Earth like a black sun, silent but watching. Aiden's earpiece crackled. "Captain Cross, report. What happened out there?" General Reeves' voice came through, heavy with tension. Aiden looked at Eve. She was still glowing faintly, her eyes unfocused, her breath uneven. "Sir," Aiden replied, "Helios is active. But it's not what you think." There was a pause. Then the general shouted, "What do you mean, not what I think? Is the weapon operational, or not?" Aiden turned off the comm. He wasn't going to explain this over a radio. How could he? Eve wasn't a machine or an AI. She was alive, something between human and divine. Eve sat on a rock, watching the burning sky. "They know where I am now," she said softly. "They will send the others." Aiden frowned. "Others? What others?" She looked at him, her golden eyes reflecting the fire. "I wasn't the only one, Aiden. I was the first." Her voice trembled as she spoke, and the air around them seemed to respond, small sparks floating like fireflies. When the Krelith found Earth centuries ago, they didn't attack right away. They watched. They experimented. They tried to make something that could think like them but feel like you, humans. Something that could connect both species. Aiden stepped closer, confused. "You mean, they created you?" Eve nodded slowly. "They called me Prototype 1, Helios. I was supposed to bring peace between our kinds. But when I started to understand what they truly wanted, I escaped." She looked away, her hands trembling. "They wanted me to erase human minds, to make you like them. Empty, cold, obedient." Aiden felt a chill run through his body. "And when you escaped, they started this war." "Yes," she said quietly. "They see humanity as a virus because you still have what they lost: emotions, chaos, hope. They think if they take me back, they can finish what they started." For a long moment, neither of them spoke. The wind carried the faint hum of the Krelith ship above. Then Aiden said, "We'll find a way to stop them. Together." Eve smiled faintly, but there was sadness in her eyes. "You don't understand, Aiden. The power inside me, it's not meant to protect. It's meant to destroy." Before Aiden could answer, the ground shook again, a new wave of alien dropships descending from the sky. Their metal wings sliced through the smoke, landing like thunder. Aiden grabbed his weapon. "Move. We need cover." They ran toward the remains of an old outpost. The metal walls were half melted, but it was shelter. Aiden peeked outside and saw them, tall, silver-armored figures, each moving within human precision. They weren't machines, not exactly. They looked like soldiers, but their faces were blank, featureless. Eve's eyes widened. "They're hybrids. Like me. But incomplete." Aiden raised his rifle. "Then they bleed, right?" He fired. The bullet hit one of them in the chest. Sparks flew, and the creature fell, twitching. But two more replaced it instantly. They fired back with plasma rifles, tearing holes through the walls. Eve stood up. "Stay behind me." Aiden tried to stop her, but she stepped into the open. The soldiers fired again, yet the beams bent away from her, twisting like light, avoiding its source. Her golden veins brightened, and for a moment, the air itself seemed to freeze. She raised her hand, and every hybrid stopped moving. Their bodies turned rigid, then started to crumble into dust. The energy from her power hummed through the air, shaking the ground. When it was over, Eve fell again, breathing hard. Aiden ran to her. "You can't keep doing this," he said, his voice worried. "You'll kill yourself." She looked up at him, her eyes dimming. "If I don't, everyone dies." Aiden placed a hand on her shoulder. "Then we find another way. There has to be something else." Before she could answer, a metallic voice echoed from above. The Krelith commander's voice. "You cannot hide her, human. She belongs to us. Her code was written in our stars." The mothership's massive beam began to glow again. A single shot from it could destroy half the continent. Aiden grabbed his comm, Base 9, "Prepare full evacuation. Now." General Reeves' voice came back, full of confusion. "Evacuation? Captain, we can't just do it." Aiden shouted. "They're not after us. They're after her." The beam charged. The sky turned white. Eve stood up weakly, her hands glowing once more. She whispered, "I can stop it, but you have to trust me." Aiden grabbed her wrist. "If you do this, you might not survive." She smiled softly, tears running down her face. "I was never meant to survive, Aiden. I was meant to save." The light from the ship fired, a massive, blinding wave. Eve stepped forward into it. For a second, it looked like the world ended. Then, all sound vanished. When the light faded, the mothership was gone. Vanished. The clouds parted, showing the stars again. Eve lay on the ground, motionless, her golden glow fading into the night. Aiden knelt beside her, shaking her shoulders. "Eve, wake up. Come on." She didn't move. Only a faint whisper escaped her lips, so soft that only he could hear it. "Find the others, before they do." Then her eyes closed, and everything went silent. Rain fell over the ruins of Earth Base 9. The fires had burned out, leaving smoke and silence behind. Captain Aiden Cross walked slowly through the wreckage, his boots crunching over broken glass and twisted metal. He was tired, not just in body, but in soul. Eve was gone. It had been 3 days since the blast that erased the Krelith mothership from the sky. No one understood how she did it. No one even knew if she survived. The sensors showed no energy readings, no life signs. Just a deep crater, glowing faintly gold at night. But Aiden didn't believe she was gone. He couldn't. He stood at the edge of that crater, rain dripping from his jacket, staring at the faint shimmer below. "You told me to find the others," he whispered. "So I will." Behind him, a small drone hovered, recording everything. The AI voice came through its speaker, calm and cold. "Captain Cross, command orders you to return to base. The war is not over." Aiden didn't turn around. "The war ended the moment we lost her. Now I need to know what Project Helios really was." He turned and walked toward a damaged vehicle, its surface covered in ash. As he started the engine, the AI continued, "Unauthorized mission detected. Destination, classified facility, Antarctica Zone 3. Reason." Aiden looked at the cold sky. "Because that's where she was made." The journey took hours. Storms covered the southern hemisphere, and most satellites were down after the alien strike. Aiden drove through endless white ice until he found it, a massive steel gate buried in snow, marked with faded letters, Helion Laboratories. He stepped out of the vehicle, scanning the entrance. The old systems were still active. He pressed his ID chip against the scanner. A moment later, the door opened with a low hiss. Inside, the air was still, frozen in time. Old holographic screens flickered weakly, showing faces of scientists long dead. Broken test tubes and shattered cryopods lined the walls. Aiden moved through the dark hallways until he reached a main console. He wiped off the dust and activated the system. The screen blinked. "Project Helios, archive access granted." He played the first log. A woman's voice filled the room, calm but tired. Day 1. Subject 1. Helios. Genetic fusion successful. The Krelith DNA responds well to human neural patterns. Emotional data unpredictable. Then another log started. Day 67. Helios shows compassion. She questions orders. We may have given her too much humanity. The Krelith may see this as failure. Aiden clenched his fists. They experimented on her, even after knowing what she was. He skipped forward. Day 150. Subject 1 escaped containment. 3 prototypes remain in stasis: Luna, Archon, and Vera. Orders from the board: terminate all research. Aiden froze. 3 others. He downloaded the data onto his wristpad. Coordinates appeared: 1 in Mars orbit, 1 deep under the Pacific Ocean, and 1 in the old lunar base. He whispered, "Eve, I'll find them." But then, the lights flickered. A low hum filled the lab. Something was moving in the dark. A voice echoed through the hallway. Metallic, yet disturbingly human. "Captain Cross, you were not supposed to find this place." Aiden raised his weapon. "Show yourself." From the shadows stepped a figure, tall, armored in black, with veins of blue light pulsing beneath the skin. His face looked half metal, half human, and his eyes glowed faintly. "I am Archon," the figure said. "Prototype 2. Aiden didn't lower his gun. "You're one of them. Where are the others?" Archon tilted his head slightly. "One sleeps beneath the ocean. One hides among the stars. And one has already betrayed us." Before Aiden could speak, Archon continued, his voice calm but cold. "Eve was never meant to destroy. She was meant to unite us. But she chose you instead. She chose humanity." "She chose freedom," Aiden said firmly. Archon's expression didn't change. "Freedom is chaos. And chaos brings extinction. The Krelith will return. You cannot stop them. Only we can, but not with hearts divided." He took a step forward, and the ground trembled slightly. "Come with me, Captain. I will show you the truth behind your war." Aiden's finger tightened on the trigger. "I don't follow machines." Archon smiled faintly. "Neither do I." Before Aiden could react, Archon vanished in a flash of blue light, leaving behind only a holographic symbol burning into the wall. It was the Helios insignia, but changed. The golden sun now cracked in half, darkness bleeding through it. The AI drone floated beside Aiden. "Captain, energy signature detected, teleportation trace leading toward deep ocean coordinates." Aiden holstered his weapon. "Then that's where we go next." He looked once more at the empty lab, at the frozen pods where the others had once been made. For a moment, he thought he saw a faint golden light flicker on one of the screens, a heartbeat monitor still active. Eve's name blinked once, then vanished. Aiden took a deep breath. "You're still out there, aren't you?" he said quietly. "Just hold on. I'll finish what you started." Outside, the storm had grown stronger. But he didn't stop. He climbed into the vehicle and drove into the endless white, chasing ghosts of the past, and the truth buried beneath the ice. Because somewhere, beneath all this chaos, the real war was only beginning. The Pacific waves were rough that night. Rain lashed against the cockpit window as Captain Aiden Cross piloted a small submersible toward the ocean floor. The coordinates from Hellion Labs glowed on his screen like a faint beacon, deep, precise, and dangerous. "This is insane," muttered the drone AI, hovering beside him. "No human has ever survived these depths without heavy protection." Aiden didn't answer. His thoughts were on Eve and the other prototypes. One was in Mars orbit, one in the lunar base, and the last, somewhere beneath the ocean. He had to find Vera before the Krelith did. The submersible's lights cut through the dark waters, revealing shadows of giant whales and twisted metal debris. Sunken ships from centuries past lay scattered across the ocean floor. Somewhere among these ruins, the second prototype waited, or maybe something worse. As they neared the coordinates, the water around them shimmered. Strange pulses of light moved through the currents, almost like the ocean itself was alive. Aiden slowed the vessel. "There," the AI whispered. On the sonar, a large structure appeared, a dome of reinforced glass and metal, sealed tight. A faint golden glow pulsed from inside. Aiden's heart raced. "That's her," he said. "Vera." The submersible docked on the outer rim of the dome. Aiden activated the external hatch. Water began rushing in, but the small suit sealed instantly, filling with oxygen and pressure stabilizers. He swam through the water toward the dome's entrance. Inside, the air was warm and still. Golden light bathed the room, reflecting off the curved walls. And there she was, a young woman, pale and floating in a glass pod, her long hair drifting like seaweed. Her veins glowed softly, golden like the sun filtered through water. "Vera," Aiden whispered, pressing a hand to the glass. Her eyes opened slowly, shimmering gold. Recognition flickered in her gaze. You came for me," she said, voice echoing softly in the dome. "Yes," Aiden said. "We need to leave. The Krellith are coming." Vera shook her head. "They don't just want me. They want all of us. All of Helios. You don't understand. They created us to be a bridge. A weapon. But they also left a curse." Aiden frowned. "A curse." Her eyes darkened. "We cannot survive long outside the containment pods. Our energy draws them. And prolonged exposure makes us unstable." Before he could respond, the dome shook violently. Sonar alarms screamed through the water. Outside, Krellith dropships descended, their magnetic grapples tearing through the ocean above. "They found us," the AI cried. Aiden grabbed a control panel. "We have to get her out now." Vera's pod hissed. The glass opened, and she floated free. Her golden aura expanded, pushing water away like an invisible shield. The submersible shook under her energy, lights flickering. "Hold on," Aiden yelled, piloting the vessel upward. The ocean roared as Krellith plasma beams struck the water around them. Every shot sent massive currents and bubbles crashing against the sub. Vera's glow intensified, bending the beams harmlessly around them. But the effort drained her, and her aura flickered like a dying star. "Just a little further," Aiden shouted, ascending toward the surface. Suddenly, one of the Krellith grapples caught the submersible, pulling it down toward a trench. The metal hull groaned under the pressure. Aiden fought the controls with every ounce of strength. Vera reached out with both hands. A golden pulse shot from her, slamming into the grapples. The metal twisted and broke, sending the sub spinning upward like a rocket. They broke the surface in a violent eruption of water, the night sky above filled with lightning and alien warships hovering. Aiden gasped. "You okay?" Vera floated in the air, exhausted, her glow faint but steady. "For now," she whispered. "But they know about me. About us. They will not stop until every prototype is returned, or destroyed." Aiden looked at her, then at the endless horizon of ocean and sky. "We need a plan. And fast. The others are still out there, one on Mars, one on the moon." Vera nodded weakly. "We can't fight them directly. Not yet. But together, we can survive long enough to reach the others." Aiden's eyes hardened. "Then we move. And we fight. Because humanity isn't just going to stand by and watch. And neither will you." She smiled faintly. "I was born to protect, even if it kills me." The submersible began its ascent to base, carrying Vera, Aiden, and the heavy knowledge of Helios past. Above them, the Krellith ships glimmered in the night sky, silent, patient, unstoppable. And somewhere, in the distance of space and stars, the other prototypes waited, and the true scale of the war was only beginning to unfold. Mars looked empty from orbit, a red desert stretching endlessly under the thin sky. But Aiden Cross knew better. Hidden beneath its surface were secrets older than humanity itself. Secrets that could change the fate of the entire solar system. The small spacecraft carrying Aiden, Vera, and the drone approached an abandoned research station. Once, it had been a bustling hub for mining and experimentation, now a ghostly skeleton buried under red dust. Coordinates confirmed, the drone said. The third prototype, Luna, should be inside the eastern sector. But readings show something else. Unknown energy spikes. Aiden frowned. Unknown energy? Vera floated near the controls, her faint golden glow reflecting off the instruments. The Krellith are smart, she said quietly. If they hid her here, they didn't do it lightly. This place might be a trap. The spacecraft landed with a soft thud. Dust rose around them like a miniature storm. Aiden grabbed his rifle and stepped out first, the dry Martian wind hitting his face. Vera followed, floating just above the ground, her aura casting soft light. The station was silent, abandoned. But the silence was heavy, oppressive. Every step Aiden took echoed through the corridors, mixing with the distant hum of some unknown machinery deep below. Finally, they reached a reinforced door. Strange symbols, alien in design, were etched across its surface. The drone beeped rapidly. Energy readings at maximum. This is Luna's chamber. Aiden's hand tightened on the door panel. Let's see what we're really dealing with. The doors slid open, revealing a large room filled with glass pods. Most were empty, cracked, or broken. But in the center, one pod remained intact. Inside floated a girl, young, pale, and glowing softly, golden veins visible through her skin. Her eyes opened slowly as the light reached her. Luna, Vera whispered. Luna's voice was soft but commanding. You came for me. Finally. Aiden stepped forward. We have to leave. The Krellith know about all of you now. She tilted her head. I know. But they also left a message, for humanity. Before Aiden could ask, the drone displayed a holographic file from the station's main terminal. Vera touched it, and a video played. A human scientist appeared, older, tired, speaking with urgency. Helios Project Log, Year 2145. We discovered alien technology beneath Mars' surface. This technology contained genetic templates, instructions for creating sentient beings. Using these templates, we tried to merge Krellith DNA with human DNA. The goal was not war, but evolution. We were trying to create something stronger, faster, smarter. Something that could survive any threat, including ourselves. Aiden's jaw tightened. You're telling me, we built the Krellith soldiers? Luna nodded slowly. Not just the soldiers. The Krellith we fight today. Some of them came from experiments based on our DNA. Helios was supposed to unite us, humanity and the Krellith, but something went wrong. Vera floated closer to Luna. That's why they're hunting us. We're their prototypes, proof of what humans could become. And proof that the Krellith can't control life completely. Aiden shook his head. So all this war, it was us making them stronger? Luna's golden eyes glowed softly. Not intentionally. But yes. Our arrogance, our experiments. They made them. And now, they want us back. Suddenly, the ground trembled. Red dust rose like smoke. A shadow fell across the chamber. Through the broken roof, a Krellith warship descended, its energy beams scanning the surface. They found us, Aiden said, raising his rifle. No, Luna said, her voice steady. They're not just looking for us. They're looking for the truth. Before anyone could move, a figure appeared from behind the pods, a hybrid, like Archon, but more human-like, its veins glowing blue. You shouldn't have come here, it said. Aiden fired, but the hybrid dodged with impossible speed. Luna raised her hand, golden light flaring outward. The hybrid froze, energy crackling around it. Leave now, she said softly, or you will see the power of what we were meant to be. Aiden helped Vera and Luna toward the spacecraft. Outside, the Krellith ship unleashed a beam that split the Martian sky. Luna's aura flared, bending the energy away, protecting them. As they lifted off, leaving the station behind, Luna looked at Aiden. "We're not just fighting to survive anymore. We're fighting for what humanity was meant to become, and to prevent the Krellith from using us to destroy ourselves." Aiden nodded. "Then we find the last prototype, and we end this, together." Vera hovered close to Luna, exhausted but resolute. "One step at a time. The truth is heavy, but now we know. And knowledge is power." The spacecraft broke through Mars' thin atmosphere, heading toward the stars. Above them, distant Krellith ships followed, patient and relentless. But now, Aiden, Luna, and Vera carried more than hope. They carried the knowledge of humanity's own hand in the war, and the key to turning it around. The moon hung in the black sky like a silver sentinel. Its surface was cold, silent, and scarred by centuries of human exploration, and secrets buried beneath its dusty plains. Aiden Cross piloted the spacecraft carefully, Vera and Luna floating quietly beside him, their golden auras faint in the cabin's dim light. The coordinates led them to an old lunar base, abandoned decades ago after the first wave of Helios research was halted. Now, it looked like a tomb. Cracked walls, broken equipment, and dormant machinery filled the corridors. "This is it," Luna whispered, her voice echoing softly. "The last prototype, Arion. He's been waiting, or sleeping." Vera's eyes widened. "After the other three, he's the most dangerous. His power was never fully controlled. Even the Krellith feared him." Aiden tightened his grip on his rifle. "Then we find him and get out. No heroics. No experiments. Just find him." They descended into the base. The air was thin, recycled, but still breathable thanks to the ship's systems. Their footsteps echoed through the empty halls, shadows stretching long across cracked floors. Finally, they reached the central chamber. A massive glass pod stood in the center, wires and tubes connecting it to dormant machines. Inside floated a young man, calm and still, golden light barely visible beneath his skin. "Arion," Luna breathed. The moment he sensed them, his eyes opened. Golden light flared brightly, filling the chamber. He sat up, disoriented at first, then recognition flickered across his face. "You, all of you, you came." Vera hovered closer. "You've slept too long. The Krellith know about us. They're coming to reclaim what they see as theirs." Arion swung his legs over the pod's edge, landing silently on the metal floor. "I can feel them," he said, voice low but commanding. "They are close, stronger than before. And they will not stop until every prototype is under their control, or destroyed." Aiden swallowed hard. "Then we leave. Together." But before they could move, the base shook violently. A low hum grew into a deafening roar. Energy pulses coursed through the walls, and holographic projectors flickered to life, displaying images of the Krellith in patterns of war. Luna gasped. "They tracked us." "But how?" "We masked our signatures." A deep voice echoed from the shadows. "You cannot hide from destiny." From the corner of the chamber, a figure emerged. Humanoid, but its body seemed partially digital, like it existed between matter and code. Its eyes glowed an unnatural blue. "I am Overseer," it said. "The Helios project was never just human. It was never just Krellith. I am the result of both. And I was left to guide the prototypes, to awaken when the time was right." Aiden frowned. Guide? Or control? The Overseer's gaze turned to Arion. "Control is irrelevant. They must learn to unite. Only then can the power within them be used to survive what is coming. The Krellith know of the final prototype, the original Helios. The one born human. The one they seek." Arion's eyes narrowed. "Eve, she's the first. The true Helios. The rest of us are echoes, fragments of her power. And now, we must decide if we follow humanity, or our design." Vera looked at Aiden, her voice soft but steady. She saved us. Eve gave us freedom. Whatever comes next, we follow her path, not the path of our makers. Aiden nodded. Then we leave. Together. And we take the fight to them, if we have to. The base's systems began to whir as the Overseer activated defensive protocols. Holographic barriers flickered around the corridors. Krellith ships appeared on external monitors, swarming the moon's orbit. Arion's golden aura flared. We'll need to move fast. Together, our power is enough to get through them, but only if we act as one. Luna stepped forward, energy glowing along her veins. Then let's wake the rest of humanity. Show them what they can truly be. As the prototypes combined their powers, the chamber shook, light bending around them in waves. Aiden watched, a mixture of awe and fear in his heart. This was no longer just a fight for survival. This was the beginning of something far bigger, a war for the destiny of all life. Outside, the moon was silent, cold, and deadly. But inside, 4 golden lights shone bright, prototypes united, ready to face the coming storm. And somewhere beyond the stars, Eve waited. The final battle was coming. The stars shone cold above the moon, but the air inside the lunar base was thick with tension. Aiden Cross, Arion, Luna, and Vera stood together, their golden auras shimmering in the dim light. Each one felt the weight of what was coming. The Krellith were mobilizing, and the true weapon, Eve, was still out there. Suddenly, a distant ripple of energy tore through space and time. The atmosphere seemed to vibrate. Everyone froze. The golden light in the distance grew brighter, brighter than any of them had ever seen. "She's here," Arion whispered, awe in his voice. Vera floated forward. "It can't be. She survived the blast?" Aiden didn't respond. His eyes were fixed on the light as it grew into a humanoid figure descending gracefully into the lunar base. Golden hair floated around her head, and her aura radiated pure energy. Eve had returned. The moment she landed, the 4 prototypes felt a surge of power connect them all. It was overwhelming, almost painful, but it filled them with hope. Eve looked at each of them in turn. "I never left," she said softly. "I had to gather strength. The Krellith are coming for more than just you. They're coming for all of humanity." Aiden stepped forward. "Then we end this, together. No more running." Eve smiled faintly. "No more running." Outside the moon's surface, the Krellith fleet descended. Ships larger than cities moved with precision, energy beams cutting through the black void. Their commander's voice echoed across the moon. "Return Helios. All prototypes belong to us. Resistance is meaningless." Eve's golden aura flared, sending a shockwave across the base. The other prototypes' powers responded, harmonizing with hers. Arion, Luna, and Vera glowed brighter, their energy intertwining like threads in a tapestry of light. "This ends now," Eve said, her voice calm but filled with authority. Aiden watched as the 4 of them stepped outside. The moon's barren surface became a battlefield unlike anything humanity had seen. The Krellith ships fired, energy beams slicing through craters, but the prototypes' combined aura bent the attacks, turning destruction into harmless light. Arion charged, moving faster than any human could, striking at the nearest Krellith ship. Luna followed, her power twisting reality around the enemy, disrupting their systems. Vera focused on shielding the civilians, and weaker human forces spread across nearby colonies. Eve remained central, the heart of their energy, her golden light pulsing in waves. Wherever she moved, the Krellith ships faltered. Their weapons overloaded, and some began to collapse under the impossible pressure of her power. Aiden realized then the truth. This was not just power. This was humanity itself, courage, hope, and resilience embodied in one being. Helios had always been human, and now, through Eve, all of humanity's potential was alive. The Krellith commander's voice roared. "Impossible! This power, this is human." Eve's aura flared one final time. She raised her hand toward the fleet. A golden wave shot outward, hitting every ship simultaneously. The Krelith vessels crumbled, melting into nothingness, their control systems fried. Even their hybrids on the moon fell, neutralized by the radiant energy. Silence followed. The moon was calm once more, only the glow of the 4 prototypes remaining. Aiden exhaled, overwhelmed. Eve floated down, her aura softening. It's over, for now. Arion, Luna, and Vera hovered nearby, exhausted but alive. Vera smiled. You saved us all. Eve shook her head. We saved each other. Humanity is stronger than they think. And now, they will see it. Aiden placed a hand on her shoulder. What happens next? Eve looked at the stars, her golden eyes reflecting Earth far below. Next, we prepare. They may return. But humanity will never be defenseless again. Not while we exist. A golden glow enveloped the 4 of them, not as weapons, not as experiments, but as living proof of what humans could become. Creators, protectors, and warriors of the stars. The Krelith fleet was gone, shattered. The moon's surface was scarred, but humanity had won. And in that moment, Aiden understood something he had always felt but never known fully. The real weapon wasn't machines, ships, or cannons. It had never been technology. It had been human all along. As Eve turned to him, smiling softly, he knew the legend of Helios had only just begun. The stars above the moon twinkled brighter, reflecting humanity's potential. Infinite, unstoppable, and undeniably alive. The end.